Victims find closure in many different ways. For some people, it might be the fact that they have reported it to the police and they may want nothing further to happen in terms of it to go criminally into a court arena. For some people, it might be that they do want it to go that far. Some people find that if they share certain information with the police, the fact that they might be safeguarding other people that are at risk, that for themselves is closure. And a lot of people, we find that when they have their own children, they feel that the time is right then for them to disclose.
And just run me through, someone reports a non-recent child abuse allegation, what happens next?
So what we will need to do is we will ask that person if they wish to speak to us, what information they wish to give us. We'll let them know that we are there to support them in any way that we can. We give them the options of where they can go. But also what I need to do is I need to make sure that there's nobody else at risk from that person. So we will be looking in lots of different directions of what to do.
So typically how long can a non-recent investigation last?
It's very dependent on the information, on how many victims we have, how many witnesses we need to speak to, and the gravity of the case itself. So sometimes these investigations can take days, they can take weeks, or even years.
And they can date back many, many years as well?
Absolutely. They can date back 20, 30, 40 years.
Sentencing powers are often less serious for these non-recent cases. Do you find this frustrating?
Well, it's very difficult because the courts and the judge who puts the sentencing across is guided by the old legislation, which is pre-2011, and therefore they need to be going along with those guidelines and not the recent ones, which are heftier sentences.
So what are the main differences between handling an investigation into a non-recent allegation of abuse compared to a current allegation of abuse?
So with a current allegation, we will have the ability of forensics. With non-recent cases, that might be slightly harder because of the passage of time. However, as you know from the media recently, we have had very, very successful cases in non-recent investigation.
And do you find that as more people come forward, more cases are going to trial and published in the media, that this spurs people to come forward and report crimes themselves?
It is very dependent on whether cases are heard in court and whether they hear someone's name mentioned, and if they are a victim of that crime themselves, then in some cases they feel that they are ready to come forward because it is already within the court arena, or something that's been playing on someone's mind for years. It'll trigger them to then come forward and disclose. So yes, it can.
So what message would you like to give to someone who is thinking about reporting historic or non-recent abuse?
So no one should feel like it's ever too late to report the abuse, and no one should ever feel forced into making any allegation. We will be there to support anybody, no matter how recent or non-recent the case is.